Every year, on the 30th of June, Mizoram comes to a pause. It is not just another public holiday, it is a day of remembrance, a day when an entire state reflects on its painful past and celebrates one of the greatest achievements in its history, peace. The people call it Remnani, literally meaning the Day of Peace. But what makes this day so important? How did a region once torn apart by armed conflicts become one of India's most peaceful states? And why does the story of Mizoram continue to be studied across India as one of the country's most successful peace processes? This is the story of conflict, negotiation, reconciliation, and hope.
Mizoram, formerly the Lushai Hills, was an excluded area indirectly administered by the British Raj during the colonial period. The hills, sandwiched by Bangladesh and Myanmar, were geographically isolated, economically backward, and politically characterized by tribal chiefship with no political representation in the colonial government. After Indian independence, Mizoram became a part of the undivided Assam, administered through Autonomous District Council under the 6th Schedule of the Indian Constitution. The roots of the Mizo national movement were not confined to the Mautam famine alone, though it served as an immediate cause. The segregationist policies of the colonial government created a sense of othering and hampered their integration into India, a people from whom they were historically protected. The Mizo discontent intensified when the Mautam famine struck the Mizo Hills in the late 1950s. A famine front was founded under the leadership of Pulal Denga to provide relief and assistance to the affected people, while the response of the Assam government was considered as largely inadequate. After the famine, a new political party, the Mizo National Front (MNF), was founded in 1961 with Pulal Denga as its president. Under his charismatic leadership, Mizo nationalism swept the hills of Mizoram as he professed that the Mizo people were sovereign before the colonial rule and that they were wrongly placed under India, who treated them with stepmotherly attitude, and that independence was their basic human rights. The independence movement started with a non-violent struggle for independence with Gandhian principles and methods. But due to constant neglect and administrative failure, the MNF launched an armed struggle code-named Operation Jericho, declared Mizoram's independence on 1st March 1966, and established a parallel government called Mizoram Sarkar.
To understand Remnani, we have to go back several decades, before the time Mizoram witnessed one of the longest insurgencies in independent India. Roughly every 50 years, species of bamboo flowers across vast areas. The seeds attract millions of rats, whose population grows rapidly. Once the seeds are gone, the rats invade farms and granaries, destroying crops and stored food. The result was widespread famine. Many elderly Mizos have predicted the disaster based on earlier experiences, but many felt their warnings received little attention from the authorities. As food became scarce, frustration grew. Out of this crisis emerged a volunteer organization called the Mizo National Famine Front, led by Pulal Denga. Initially, its purpose was simple, to help starving families and distribute relief. But over time, the movement evolved beyond humanitarian work. It began raising political concerns about the future of the Mizo people.
With the outbreak of armed insurgency in Mizoram, locally known as Ramboi, the government of India immediately declared Mizoram a disturbed area and undertook counter-insurgency measures to suppress the MNF. This included imposition of Armed Forces Special Powers Act, aerial attacks on Mizoram by the Indian Air Force, grouping and relocation of villages, and restriction of fundamental rights including freedom of peaceful assembly, movement, and expression. The common people were the worst sufferers, experiencing gross human rights violations, displacement, loss of property, loss of lives, and they lived in fear and insecurity. It was here that Brigadier Tenpung Asailo founded the Human Rights Committee in 1974. The Indian Army suppressed the MNF, which retreated to the jungles and operated from their headquarters in Burma and Bangladesh with the assistance of Pakistan and China. The disturbed condition in Mizoram marks the darkest chapter in Mizo history. Unofficial reports estimate 2,000 to 3,000 deaths during the 20-year disturbance.
In October of 1961, the organization dropped the word famine and became the Mizo National Front, or MNF. Its objectives have changed. The movement now sought greater political rights and eventually demanded independence for what it called Greater Mizoram. On 28 February 1966, the MNF launched an armed uprising against the government of India. What followed was nearly 2 decades of insurgency. The conflict affected daily life across Mizoram. Many villages experienced insecurity, people were displaced. Security operations intensified. The conflict left deep emotional and social scars that many families still remember today. Yet, even during these difficult years, political dialogue never completely disappeared. Several rounds of negotiations took place over the years. Although many failed, they gradually built the foundation of peace.
Well, the preamble of the Mizoram Peace Accord gave the credit for the initiation of peace to the government of India. Peacemaking in Mizoram is also a collective effort of all the sections of the people of Mizoram. The first to initiate peace was the church, taking a third-party mediator role between the warring parties, and met important officials including the Prime Minister of India and Pulal Denga himself, through its various bodies such as the Peace Mission, the Christian Peace Committee, and the Committee of Church Leaders. During the disturbed years, peace and harmony were the twin slogans of all political parties of Mizoram. The MNF itself wanted peace within the framework of the Constitution of India. It signed the July Agreement of 1976 with the Government of India after its Calcutta Convention. But the change in government at the center delayed the peace process due to hostile relations between the Janata Party and the MNF, and Pulal Denga was arrested. With the return of the Indian National Congress to power, formal peace talks resumed on the pressure of all political parties and civil society organizations in Mizoram. Present Chief Minister of Mizoram, Pulal Duoma, who was a former IPS officer in charge of the Prime Minister's security and President of the Mizoram Congress, took a significant role in the negotiation process. A confidential agreement was reached by the MNF and the Congress 5 days before the signing of the historic accord. Finally, the Memorandum of Settlement, more famously known as the Mizoram Peace Accord, was signed on June 30, 1986 by Sri R.D. Pradhan, Union Home Secretary, on behalf of the Government of India, Pulal Khama, Chief Secretary of Government of Mizoram, and Pulal Denga, President of the MNF.
After years of negotiations, both sides realized that lasting solution could not be achieved through violence. On 30th June 1986, history was made. The Government of India and the Mizo National Front signed what became known as the Mizoram Peace Accord, officially called the Memorandum of Settlement. The agreement ended the armed insurgency. The MNF agreed to lay down its arms, renounce violence, and participate in democratic politics. In return, the central government accepted several political and administrative measures that paved the way for a peaceful future. Just months later, on 20th February 1987, Mizoram officially became the 23rd state of India. Former insurgent leader Pulal Denga entered democratic politics and became the state's chief minister. The transition from armed struggle to democratic governance became one of the defining moments in modern Indian history.
As per the agreement, the MNF ended all underground activities. Official records maintain that 581 underground personnel came overground, deposited their arms, and returned to civilian life, while some of their leaders even joined democratic politics. The government, on the other hand, took steps for their rehabilitation and resettlement. Mizoram was granted statehood by the enactment of the State of Mizoram Act, with special constitutional safeguards under Article 371G regarding religious and social practices, customary law, and ownership of land. It also provided special category status, inner line regulation, provisions for border trade, a separate university, a separate high court, among others. Pulal Thanhawla, the then Chief Minister of Mizoram, stepped down from his office for Pulal Denga to form an interim government in the new Mizoram state until fresh elections were conducted in the next year.
The impact of the peace accord extended far beyond politics. Peace created stability encouraged investment, education expanded, infrastructure improved, tourism developed, economic opportunities increased. Today, Mizoram consistently ranks amongst India's safest states. The state also records one of the country's highest literacy rates. Most importantly, an entire generation has grown up without experiencing the violence that shaped their parents' lives. That transformation remains one of the greatest legacies of the peace accord.
The Mizoram Peace Accord has often been hailed as a model accord and one of the most successful peace accords signed by the Government of India with an insurgent group. Before the Mizoram Accord, the Punjab Accord and the Assam Accord were also signed, but Mizoram presents a different story. Since 1986, Mizoram has not relapsed into a state of insurgency, and no insurgent organization operates in its soil today. But what makes this accord so successful is a question often asked. These are some of the reasons that may be explained as why peace sustains in Mizoram. Firstly, it represented a successful compromise. The Mizoram Accord did not deliver the MNF's core demand of independence, but a point of agreement could be reached, and it was a win-win situation for both sides. Secondly, the signatories enjoyed the mandate of the people of Mizoram, including political parties and civil societies, who accepted any kind of peaceful settlement and at any cost. Thirdly, both the signatories honored the agreement, and all the provisions of the accord have been implemented, except for the setting up of a separate high court.
Well, it has been a great honor for me that on the very last evening when I am relinquishing not only the office of the Home Secretary to the Government of India, but superannuity from the government service, that I should have the honor of signing this memorandum of settlement on behalf of the Government of India. It has been a unique experience discussing over months and several hours with Mr. Lal Denga, his colleagues and others. And this settlement has been possible because of mutual trust, mutual goodwill, and the faith in which we have decided that it must work.
Well, a new era of hope, and these are all possible under the leadership of Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. And of course, I can never forget the initiative taken by the late Prime Minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Had it not been for her, well, it might have been very difficult for us to restart after the talk was broken off in 1982. So today I would like certainly to recall her in what she has done for us. Thank you.
As Mizoram reaches its 40th anniversary of peace, the present and the future generations of Mizoram should cherish and safeguard the legacy of the peace accord. There are some who argue that the 20 years of national struggle in Mizoram was a waste. It was undoubtedly the darkest period of Mizoram history, but never a waste, for many important lessons were learned from the experience. The consequences of failed governance, the horrors of violence, and the immeasurable value of peace. These lessons have made Mizoram a peaceful state in a region of violent conflicts. Yet peace is merely not the absence of violent conflicts. We must remember that it is rather the presence of justice, good governance, trust, opportunities for progress that give meaning to peace. As Mizoram moves forward, the memory of the disturbed years and the success of the peace accord should both serve as a reminder that peace is both an achievement to be celebrated and a responsibility to uphold for generations to come.
Every year, on June 30th, Mizoram observes Ramnani. Government leaders, former officials, civil society organizations, students and citizens gather to remember the signing of the peace accord. Special programs are organized across the state. Messages from political leaders often highlight the importance of preserving peace for future generations. For many families, Ramnani is also a deeply personal occasion. It is a day to remember those who lived through the difficult years and to appreciate the peace that younger generations now inherit. The story of Ramnani is not simply about the end of a conflict. It is about what became possible afterwards. It reminds us that even after decades of violence, dialogue can succeed where weapons fail. The Mizoram Peace Accord transformed a region marked by uncertainty into one recognized for peace and stability. Success continues to inspire scholars, policy makers, and peace builders around the world. Perhaps its greatest legacy is found not in history books or political speeches. It lives in the everyday lives of the people of Mizoram, in children growing up without fear, in communities living together peacefully, and in a society that continues to value reconciliation over conflict. Every 30th of June, Ramnani reminds Mizoram of where it came from, how far it has traveled, and why peace must never be taken for granted.